waiting on Rick. That's the only problem we have. Sorry. I'm just kidding. All right, well, welcome to the September Planning Commission meeting. We'll start off tonight with a roll call.
Rick Ferris.
Here.
Patrick Tevenaugh.
Here.
Josh Wilbur.
Here.
Jerry Ralston.
Here.
Carl Eaglin.
Here.
Mike Armstrong.
Here.
Missing Zach Laughlin, Joel Storm, and Van Crafton.
All right, everybody should have received the minutes from last month. Are there any corrections, additions, changes?
I just want to note you have 2 sets of minutes to approve.
We have
From last
July's, or both meetings. So
Yes.
everybody did get both meetings, though? Make
Yes.
sure. I forgot.
I'll make a motion we approve the July minutes as printed.
You mean the August?
August minutes as printed.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against, same sign. All right. All right. We will move on to our new applications. Tonight we have 4 new applications. I will state the application number, and then whoever's representing it can come up to the podium. I will go over the description of the application, and then we'll ask the applicant if you have any additional comments to make about it. At that point in time, the board will ask any questions they might have. Then we'll give the audience a chance to ask any questions or voice any concerns they might have, and then we will vote on the application. All right? So the first application tonight is PCAF-25-7, Matthew Benzer on behalf of John Kuhner. Application to amend final plat to split the parcel with the parcel ID of 39-08-28-221-033.000-007 into 3 lots. Location is 2013 Wells Drive, zoned R8 residential medium density. You the applicant?
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you could state your name and address for us.
Matthew Benzer, 1213 West Main Street.
All right, thanks, Matt. Nicole, anything additional for us to consider on this?
No, you have the plats. It does meet the minimum requirements for R8, so there's no issues with that aspect.
Okay. Matthew, any additional comments you'd like to make to the board?
I don't think so, just going to build a couple single-family homes for sale. Don't intend to just single-family, not duplex, triplex, anything like that. So.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I assume all the utilities and everything is present.
It's at the street, yeah.
Yeah, at the street. Okay.
And then you'll, from the utility standpoint, you'll be separating those for the 3 different lots or 3 different buildings that you
Yep, it'll probably end up only being two buildings. That third one has a city access road to, I believe, a lift station in Clifty Park.
Okay.
And then there's a sewer main and storm sewer that runs through that third one as well. So it kind of closely resembles the original subdivision plat. It was similar to it, so.
So you got 2 buildable lots, so they will be metered and all that separately. So
Exactly, yep.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Questions, concerns from the audience? Come on up, please. You can state your name and address for us first.
I'm Suzanne Aruda, and I live across the street from that at 1445 Monroe Drive.
Okay.
And my concern is not for the gentleman and his buildings. My concern is more for the city and stormwater runoff. That area is a little different from a lot of places in that it has water run down from 3 hills, from Wells and on 2 sides, and Monroe Drive, and it all pools right at our storm drains, and they are woefully inadequate right now. Anytime we have heavy storms, and just about all our storms tend to be heavy, we have flooding in our driveway and our yard. My husband and I have gone out and in boots and tried to clear, because every leaf that's up on top of those hills comes down to ours. The one drain is capped at the moment because it had collapsed, and so the city just put a cap over it. The one that is at his property is generally completely covered by brush, and so everything comes to ours. My concern is that if there's more building on there, that's going to mean more runoff after rain. And so has the city considered adding some drains, replacing the ones we've got, doing anything to assist? Because it's going to be some big flooding.
Well, I know there is a stormwater plan in place, so Nicole, maybe you can speak to that.
Yeah, we just completed a mapping process with a consulting engineering firm to get a better idea of what the city infrastructure looks like and where it's located. So we are taking a look at those now and trying to game plan a capital improvement plan for stormwater going forward.
Okay, it is only going to get worse, and it's bad now, so, anyway, that was my concern.
But it's definitely a concern. Of course, when there's construction, this is a lot of times the comments we get from the public is about runoff, water runoff and so forth.
Well, the land right now, holds water
Sure.
during the storms, and then that's going to be built upon. So
You're talking about
there's
that
going to be
side
more.
of the
Yeah.
land that his lots are on, you mean?
The side that he is going to build
Yeah.
on. I mean, that's open now, and so it will hold water, and when he builds on it, then it's just going to be that much more water running off. So I just wanted to let the city know that we have a big problem, and really hope that it will be considered and addressed.
And I do know when you do build, I believe that is taken into consideration, right, by the building inspector?
Yes, yep, we look at that as well as we're an MS4 municipality, so we look at stormwater in that aspect as well.
Okay, yeah, they have to, that's one thing they would have to consider, when they build, before they build,
Okay,
yes.
thank
But
you
thank
very
you,
much.
that was.
Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns from the audience? All right, hearing none, accept a motion on this application.
I move we approve application PCAF 25-7 as presented.
We have a second. Nicole?
Patrick Tevenall,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Mike Armstrong,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin.
Yes.
Joshua Ware.
Yes.
Jerry Austin.
Yes.
All right, our second application is PCAF-25-8, John Demery. Application to amend final plat to split the parcel with the parcel ID of 39-08-26-223-001.000-007 into two lots. Do we have the applicant here? I think Mr. Demery, you are here. You come on up and state your name and your name and address for us.
Would you like to have the Mylars and the drawings, or you'll have that?
They have that.
To have-
Yep.
okay. John Demery, 1938 Michigan Road.
All right, thank you, John. Nicole, anything more to add on this?
I noted in the staff notes that the new parcel would not be large enough. It's, on the current zoning ordinance, it requires to be a 1/4 acre as well as 50-foot wide.
To be able to be split into the two? Okay. Buildable, okay. Mr. Demery, do you have any questions about that or any information you would like to provide in light of that?
What we want, it's basically a granny pad. My wife's mother's moving in, and she would like to have ownership, is the reason why we're splitting it off. Obviously, at some point, when she doesn't need it any longer, it would revert back to my wife.
But at that point, though, if it's split now, it'd still be split, though. You might own the property, but it would still be
Right.
split, right? So, Nicole, basically, based upon the ordinance, this would not be allowable under the ordinance?
Without a variance from development standards, it would not be buildable.
So you could split the property, but you wouldn't be able to build on it? Okay. Questions from the board?
On the smaller parcel that'll be split off, is there any existing structure on it currently?
Is there a current structure on it now? There's not, no.
Okay.
So, and like I said, our intent is for it to revert back to my wife when we're finished with that.
So this point in time, the idea you would have is to go in front of, they believe it would be the BZA, right? To get a variance to be able to build on that second parcel, the split parcel.
Yes.
So there is a structure currently on one, and then you would want to put a structure.
Well, there's
on
a residence,
There's a
our
residence.
personal residence,
Yeah.
and then this just is next door. She is older and we just wanted something close for her to be able to, she wants to live on her own, but we need to be close.
And if you didn't get it, if it wasn't allowed to be split, would you still, are you still considering building something there, a structure for her to still to be
No,
there?
this is for her.
Okay. But if you weren't, if we didn't approve for this to be split, would you still be looking to try to put a structure there for her, or would that prevent that from happening?
Well, I can't do it without your approval. Maybe I'm not understanding the question.
In other words, you have, this is all your land, right?
Yes.
It's one parcel now. If it's not allowed to be split, would you still seek to put a structure
Well,
on there?
It's different ownership is the issue.
Right. So if that wasn't allowed, then she probably would not move there?
That's probably not going to happen, right?
Okay, gotcha. Other questions from the board? Questions, concerns from the audience on this application? All right, hearing none, we'll entertain a motion. No motion is being made, then this application doesn't move forward, is that correct? I believe that's to be true. Does the board here feel that you need more information, or you do not feel comfortable to make a motion on this at this point?
Where on your lot are you
It's
proposing?
between the existing residence and the 17th T, there where that line of
Okay,
greenery is.
so it would be just
The
south.
The tree line.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
I mean, honestly, in the summertime, you'd never see it.
right, yeah. So how many feet away from your property would the roof line be?
Well, it'll be 10 feet off of the golf course, of course, the side. And then it'll be a shotgun type house, but we'll need a little, I mean, we will need a variance to get it. There's only like 32 feet.
Right, yes, there's not much there.
I mean, I guess we could make it 12 feet wide, but I'd like it a little wider than that. And it's only going to be about, I'm going to say 800 square feet.
And I assume if this goes through, then she would use the existing driveway?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
there won't be
there's
any paving
there's
other
no
than,
additional pavement. I mean, and I just didn't want to do a yard barn. I hate the way
Right.
those look. We want it
Yeah.
to look like the structure that we have.
Existing structure, and it's not very big. I'm afraid that by splitting off such a small parcel between building setbacks and everything else, it's just gonna be a really difficult lot to get approval to build anything on in the first place. And I mean, I can't speak for the Board of Zoning Appeals, but I could understand why they may have similar
Well,
concerns
it's
about the
tight.
size of
Certainly,
it,
I
yeah.
would agree with you there. And, but, it goes back to, it will revert back to the parent parcel at some point, and I don't have a problem putting that in the request or the application.
Can we just make it a motion to not approve or disapprove?
Yeah, you
to
can
move it
make a
along,
motion to not approve it.
To move it
yes.
along.
Yeah, you can do that.
No, because we either approve or.
I thought we either recommend or don't recommend.
This wouldn't be a
Okay,
recommendation. This would just be a decision.
Just a
so this is
vote.
just a vote?
Yes.
Okay.
So you
Has
either
to be a yes or a no
approve,
vote.
deny, or table.
So you can make the motion for it, and then when you vote, you can vote no or yes.
And you can make a motion if you want to approve with conditions.
True.
But I did text our attorney and he said you do have to make a decision. You can't.
Can't not, just not vote, okay.
Yes.
Well, John, I understand you wanting to put something in the text about reverting back to you, but that's not feasible in all honesty, that could happen. You could have a disagreement with your mother somewhere down the line, and then it becomes two separate pieces of property, and, I mean,
Well,
that's the way the world
it would
works.
be landlocked, obviously. We couldn't do anything else with it
That's the thing, how would you
because
get
it
to-
doesn't really have any road frontage.
Where's the access?
So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So how would you access this property?
But she shouldn't drive. I mean, it would just be.
Yeah, but-
It would just be, I mean, we have a driveway, right? I mean, it would be the same existing drive. Can I come up there and?
Yeah,
Sure.
that would be great if you can help me understand where your driveway, where the accessibility is to it. Just because it would be a property by itself, so,
So the driveway exists right here.
okay.
The residence would just be right there. And then
Over
we have
here?
a door that comes out of our side of our house that would basically, it would be connected by a deck. It would all be basically one property. The issue is that she wants to own it.
Right, but the problem is for me, is that, yes, it's family now. But if something happens to you and your wife before even her, I'm not
No,
trying to.
no, I'm with
No,
you, I'm with you.
but then this all goes to heck, in that circumstance, right? So,
So, well, I was hoping maybe we could write something that, I mean, that specifically addresses that.
yeah, I think that's tough.
Yeah, and that would probably be outside of what we would.
What we can conditionally make, I think, as a planning commission, I'm not sure we can make
So-
that happen.
So where do I head from here?
I mean, you can always bring an application back to us after, going through, talking with the city more, possibly, I don't know if it'd be the title company, how that would all go down there, but, I mean, for me, I don't know if I feel comfortable yet, because it's still part of the one land, and it's just odd, because we'll really be making a decision to separate a parcel of your land, but yet if it's sold, I don't know how somebody else would access it. They couldn't go through your house to get
Well,
there.
no one would, it's part of the property. No one.
Well, that's the problem. It's really not at that point. It's part of somebody else's property. It's not your property anymore.
Right, but certainly we wouldn't, we wouldn't sell the property. We wouldn't,
I know you
I'm
wouldn't,
with-
but
I'm with
she
you. Sure,
could. She
sure, I'm
could
with
at
you.
that
I'm
point,
with you.
yeah.
I'm with you.
So that's where I'm just, I think this needs probably more thought through what what it could be. Could it be even bigger? Can it have its own access? Even though it might be shared access, but then you'd have to have that, put into a title, what that, shared access would be to be able to get to that lot. And then you have to look at the ordinance, how big it
Well,
needs to
certainly, I guess
be.
you'd write an easement to
Yes.
access it, but, so I'm confused now at this point. What exactly is,
Well,
so if we, go ahead.
Right now, I mean, from an ordinance standpoint, it's really not big enough to
Right,
build upon.
Right, okay, that's.
Which
why
is a
we're-
big part,
yeah.
right? Two, the accessibility of it's tough for me because I understand your driveway's here, but could that allow someone doesn't want to touch your property, be able to get on this property without touching your property? I don't know that to be true. I'm not sure. So I got questions with it that make me leery. If it was just somebody wanting, I guess, some land to put a garden
Well, I
on,
mean,
that might be
I can
different.
see the concern if we were trying to split that off, but that's, I mean, we are, but we're not. I see.
You are, though. I mean,
see where you're coming
yeah.
from,
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
Legally, you're splitting
You're
it off.
splitting it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
Okay, I'm with you.
what's gives me pause.
So we may have to think through, may have to think through this one some more to
Okay.
try to figure this out and work with the city a little bit
So
too.
do we table this, or will we go?
You can
from
ask to
here,
have
or
it
what do we
tabled.
do?
You certainly can ask to have it tabled. That is an option
Well,
of an
Is this where
applicant.
I come back, or do I go elsewhere?
If you have it tabled, then it's tabled until you might be ready to come back to to discuss it again, because it stays on the table until we take it off the table. So that is an option. You have to ask for, request it as an applicant. You can request the board to table it. Or you can ask for a vote, just go ahead and go for the vote, and if it's turned down, then you
I
can
can
still,
see where we're going
see what I'm
with
saying?
this,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so do I need to go back up here and make a?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to respectfully request that we table the application for this evening.
I make a motion, we table this motion for tonight.
I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you, Joe.
How's that, we gotta do the roll call.
Roll call.
Carl Evelyn,
Yes.
Patrick Tevenall,
Yes.
Josh Wilbur,
Yes.
Mike Armstrong,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Jerry Ralston.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right, our next application is, did I? No, I didn't, okay. Is PCAF-25-9, Jim Pruitt on behalf of D&W Realty Holdings LLC. Application to amend final plat to consolidate the parcels previously established as Century Plaza Edition, which includes the parcels with the parcel IDs of 39-08-22-114-002.000-007 through 39-08-22-114-023.000-007, 39-08-22-114-024.000-007, and 39-08-22-114-037.000-007, location 2629 North Michigan Road, 4-88 Century Lane, and 200-plus State Road 62, zoned general business. All right, Jim, you got all those numbers memorized? Test
I
is
do, all
next.
24 of them.
I think you missed the dash.
Yeah, you missed a couple.
Did I? There we go.
You did fine.
Thanks.
But
And,
All right, if you can state your name and address for us,
We're
Jim.
also next on the agenda also with something on the same one.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to look at that. But I'm Jim Pruitt, real estate broker representing D&W Realty Holdings. They recently purchased the Village Square Shopping Center, and included in that purchase was some vacant land to the east known as Century Plaza. That was platted back in the 1980s, and they were very long, narrow. What we would like to do is unplat the previous plat, and then we'll put, I think it ends up with 3 tax ID numbers now, one for the proposed roadway, one for the north parcel, and one for the south parcel that roadway will divide in half. So basically, we would be doing 19 single-family rental houses on one parcel. Basically, it's going to have 2 split by the road, but and it's something like a planned urban development. It's sort of like a PUD, but so there will not be individual lot numbers. It will be all the residences on one parcel, and it will be owned by the same owner. So we want to unplat that. The roadway is drawn on there, changed it slightly from the previous so we could get the 19 homes on there.
If you're planning on residential, would they need to change the general business?
Since
No.
it's all on one parcel, even though they're individual homes, they're still considered apartment condo units because it's a multi-family rental. They're just separated out into single homes.
So these are going to be rentals,
Yes, they will not
Okay.
be sold.
not be sold, okay.
Will not be sold.
For my clarification too, if in the future, if individual homes on here wanted to be sold off, it would have to be rezoned at that point to
It would have
allow
to be rezoned and.
and replatted.
Replatted.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions, concerns from the audience? Come on up.
Well, that's, I got a question. Does that street come out where?
That street comes out, so we've checked with the state. Everything's been approved by the state. There's, they want it to line up with Frank's Drive as closely as it can across the road. There is a 50-foot road right-of-way at Michigan Road, and it will most likely be in the north of that.
And that's just
right-of-way.
one way in, one way out?
That's
I mean, the
correct.
Same way?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so if you can see those drawing, that's been approved by the fire fire chief.
Okay.
Reviewed
Okay.
reviewed by the fire.
Okay.
So there's plenty of room on that. It's kind of a little bit different cul-de-sac, but, so this is just the first step of the process. The next step will be drainage and utilities, getting the engineers to look at those, and then design of the individual units would be last.
All right. Go ahead and let audience member come on up and state your name and address, sir.
That's fine. My name is Cher Austin. I'm actually here representing Ann Armand.
Can you state your address too?
Oh, yes, 2629 Michigan Road, Madison, Indiana, 47250.
It's all right.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and
All right.
state.
I have a couple of concerns. First, the major one, sorry, don't like the road. It's going to be right up against, in between what is the candle shop right now and the Inglewood Motel. It's going to be just a very small distance between the two. We already have issues now because of Taco Bell across the street and Frank's Drive. And then we have the driveway for the candle shop, and then right down from that is the factory driveway, and then of course then there's the motel driveway. So being able to get in and out, and the traffic is horrendous in that area as it is. Sorry, but Taco Bell, they're really anxious people to get in and out of there. And so we're having some, major issues. If they're going to build this one-way road that's going to come from the back of the property out to, even if it's going to be facing with Frank's Drive, it's going to be really just like almost right on top of the motel. And we're going to have a lot more traffic if you're building 19 units back there. So we were originally told that some of the plans were, and again, that's through gossip, that the road was actually going to go through the Plaza Center or right behind it, and then it was going to come out on, I guess it would be Clifty Drive. So, but now it sounds like it's going to all come out onto what will be, I guess, connecting straight over to Frank's Drive. And then you've got the intersection right there with the stoplight and everything, and you've got the shopping center over there on that corner. And now this is going to be another road that's going to be so close to the stoplight, people getting in and out. So that's a major concern for me. Another one is going to be noise variance, because if that road is basically right on top of the motel, then there's not going to be any protection for sound. And our, residents, tenants that live right there, it's going to be basically almost like right on the very end of the motel. So that's going to be a real noise issue for us too. I don't have a problem with them building whatever they want to build back there. I just have a problem with where the road's going to come out at, and also the noise variance that's going to occur. I mean, if they're going to build something there, what I would like to see done, and again, that would be up to y'all, is that they build some type of a noise containment, privacy fence between the road and our business and his business down through there, at least 12 foot high to keep the sound down, and also to add, added protection between those two areas of property. Again, like I said, I don't really have a problem if they want to build something back there. Oh, and I do have a concern in the sense, like, hopefully he's going to get this resolved, or you guys are going to get it resolved, as far as drainage. Because when it does rain, just like the folks back here, a lot of that water comes into our basin back there. So that would be a little bit of an issue if they don't, put the road in just properly, that it's going to flood right into, the motel area.
I'm trying to think of that road, if my mic squeaks, but, yeah. This works, okay. I would assume if I was going north there, I think you can't turn left, where you're coming out, does it allow you to turn left?
Yes.
So it's far
It's-
enough
it-
up?
it actually-
It is far enough
After
out?
the median.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think, how far the median is
So we can
compared to where
turn
you're
left coming out of the motel.
at. Okay.
And,
Well, coming out of the motel, okay, I guess so. So then I
yeah,
guess
so
you
we
could
can
turn
go
left
left
from the
or
other side.
right. And in the same way with Taco Bell,
Okay, so
they can go
I got
left
it.
and right.
it's not too far after the stoplight, though.
Exactly, right, it's just not too far from the stoplight, so I see that being a bit of an issue as far as traffic-wise for where the stoplight's at,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, 50 feet. Yep, 25 feet for each lane. All right, is that all your concerns?
Ta-da,
All right,
yeah,
thank you.
I'm easygoing.
All right, no worries, thank you.
Does it?
So you're saying some hedge row or fence or something up there just for the noise?
Yes, something, I mean, and we're assuming it should be probably at least 12 foot high to keep the noise barrier down and also add like a protection between the road and right there where the motel's at. I mean, hate to see that one of the people coming up and down through there just like slam into, the business and, where people are residing at. That would be, a concern for me, especially if I was in the room.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want that either. Jim, can you answer,
Oh, do I stay up here?
I was just gonna ask Jim a question. No, you can sit down if you want. Jim, can you answer a question? Do you have any plans for
Well,
fencing?
I
or-
think this, what I'm under the impression of, that this is just for the change, the replatting of the map.
It is.
We've got drainage plans we have to go through to meet
Yep.
the city of Madison drainage plans. We have to have a utility plan in place. We've just started that process, and then the design will come later. So
Sure.
I
I didn't know if you'd already thought of that or not.
Well,
Just
and-
thought we'd answer the question.
yeah,
so.
and to answer one of the questions, it is platted right now as a street. Somebody could go in there and put a street in, is my understanding, without replatting whatsoever. And so we're trying to replat it to make the best use of the property and move that, and we'll be moving that roadway to the north of that 50-foot right-of-way, which will be north of the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I can't speak on any landscaping or anything at this point.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Can I ask one quick question? Okay, that was platted back in the 1980s, when that was originally platted. But in addition to that, since that platting has occurred, there's been other changes that were made in that particular area. First of all, the ATV place, which is right next door, put in a great big, huge entrance back and forth down through there that was not platted in the first place and was added in addition. Also, Taco Bell was not also platted back in the 1980s. So those are concerns that those weren't, even taking place at that point. And the change in the fact that the shopping center was added in, so you have all that additional traffic going through there where that wasn't even there back in the 1980s.
Yeah, but the difference here is if it's actually platted for a road already, that's the difference, where these others you're saying weren't platted at the time. They obviously received approval to be platted at some point, but this is.
So they don't
right
make
now
any changes?
Currently, no, I'm not saying changes can't be made. My
Okay.
point is that if it's already platted for a road, then a road could go in, and that's what he's saying, is that a road could go in regardless.
Okay.
It's just that it's, what else is built there, obviously it has still have to get approval, but a road could still be put in.
Okay.
So currently, that's how it's currently platted.
And is that like, I'm assuming you got that approved through the state, right? So that's something that,
So it did not, if you want me to answer that question. The City of Madison Street Department's director checked with the state of Indiana. There was no requirements for us to do anything different on that intersection. Their request was to have the road placed as far north in that right-of-way as possible to try to make it line up with Frank's Drive.
Yeah.
And so that was their only request as far as the state goes.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Sir?
My name is Daryl Detmer. I own the property at 120 Clifty Drive all the way through 190 Clifty Drive over to the car wash. And my only concern, which I think Jim answered some of this might not be the right meeting for that, but with apartments back there, you could end up having this time of day and later, you could have kids and stuff over playing on my property where the slabs and things are at, which would, only the way I'm doing the math, only going to be 10 to 15 feet off the property line there, so those slabs could easily fall over and kill somebody very easily. So I'd like Mrs. Arman there, I'd like to see a fence put down through there, some type of privacy fence to block all that off, so you can't have people wandering over there and playing in that area at night. Not necessarily for sound for me, but more for safety reasons, because it's pretty dangerous there and behind there playing around those slabs at night. Not saying that they're going to, but kids are going to be kids.
Yeah. No,
And that's all paved area, and behind there in Yamato and all that, they're going to be, it's just going to promote people to come over there to hang out.
So if I'm not mistaken, Nicole, there would still have to be another application made later if this, you know, the apartments, or not apartments, the houses go in, or they're gonna go in, they're gonna ask, you know, for landscaping variances,
Yeah, it sounds
anything like
it's a
that?
different meeting.
I'm not aware of any other approvals that would be needed. If they meet all the zoning ordinance requirements, then the only thing that would be left would be a building permit.
Would we have to approve any setbacks for buildings on the property?
Yes, that is correct, because it is
I was gonna
general
say,
business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one other thing that came up, and this is just gossip that came from the car wash when it was built, but they claimed that that was all wetlands in behind there too, so I don't know if that's true, false, or whatever, but it's just,
Yeah, I don't know, if it is, they'd have to get permitting then to
That's
either
all.
move it or do something with that, because you can't just build on a wetlands if
right,
it's
that's
actually
all
deemed
different
wetlands.
deal too, right?
Okay.
But, yeah, that's it. I'm just hoping for a fence of some type of safety to put down through there if that was, which that's not this meeting. That's not your all's department.
Well, in the future, we would have to, we'd have to approve setbacks for the property before anything could be built on it, so that would,
And my math through there, there's the time you get a 50-foot street in there, you have to be 20 foot off the property line in the rear, or 10 on an apartment building.
Currently, the general business, the plan commissions establishes setbacks for every building.
So it can be as little as 5.
It's up to the plan
Whatever
commission.
we decide, yeah. Yep.
If you want to take a look at that, we can tell you what we have on there.
I'm just questioning. I'm not really here to stop it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be approving any setbacks today. In this meeting, this is just to amend the plat itself to allow for this to go.
Yeah, we can look at that.
I mean, it's not, again, I'm not here to stop it. I'm just here to work with safety and
So if you look at this, let's look at the paper ones instead of the Mylar. So this is the proposed house site right here, and that's about 40 by 50, that's 20,000 square, 2,000 square feet. So we've got our next one, we're gonna ask for a variance from 50 feet to 40 feet, so we can have the setbacks. So we're asking for 10-foot setbacks from the right-of-way, but the right-of-way would be 40 feet, and the pavement would only be 20 feet, I think is what we have planned for the pavement. So it'd be 20 foot wide, but in a 40 foot right-of-way.
Where are you right here?
That's a 10-foot setback, I believe.
on here.
Yeah.
That's just my concern. You're gonna get,
Yep.
because this is all paved back in here, and you're gonna get
Yep.
skateboarding and bicycles and
Well,
if
there's
they-
also, yeah.
if we put some type of security thing across there.
I don't want to do like the farmers did, you pay for half, we pay for the other half. We'll talk about that. All right.
I'll pay for anything.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns from the audience? All right.
It might be wise to have the discussion about his variance request before approving the final plat, in case that makes
You're talking about on the second application?
yeah, in case that makes any determination for a board member on approving either.
Does the board have any problem with us discussing the second application while on the first application? Okay, I'll go ahead and read it, so that way everybody understands what the second application is on this same property. It is SDVA-25-1. Again, Jim Pruitt is representing on behalf of D&W Realty Holdings LLC. It's an application for a variance from subdivision standards to allow for a smaller right-of-way for a future road location 2629 North Michigan Road, 4-88 Century Lane, and 200 plus State Road 62, zoned general business. My problem with this application is it doesn't state what those smaller standards are. It just leaves it pretty open.
Well, no, it's on the, it's platted on.
Right, I just meant in the statement there.
Yeah, so the city of Madison's is 50 foot, based on the depth of the property from north to south. To be able to get the houses in there, we were asking for a 40-foot right-of-way instead of a 50-foot right-of-way. And then their pavement, what they have drawn is about 20 feet on there and a 10-foot setback.
So it's 40 feet, but then it widens to 25, to 50, you mean?
Well, it's out here, it's 50 foot, but when we come in here.
Right, I'll say it's gonna narrow.
Inside the right of way.
40 feet, yeah, so we'd have, it's kind of hard to see through right now with that other one there.
Here's
Yeah, so this is 40 feet from right-of-way to right-of-way here,
right.
and there'd be a 10-foot setback, 20-foot pavement, so it'd actually be 20 foot from the front of the structure to the edge of the pavement.
Is this so you can put sidewalks in, or?
Well, there are two ways that we can do that. I'll go back to the podium. There are two ways that we haven't decided yet. It's strictly based on cost. One of those, if we build the road to city specifications, then we can turn the road over to the city of Madison for them to maintain it. The other option is to put a driveway in that it would still be privately owned. We had it drawn so we could meet the city street specifications for the pavement and turn it over, but it's strictly based on cost, and we have estimates out right now. We're waiting on to see what those estimate numbers are, driveway versus a city street. And a city street's probably double or more of what just a driveway would cost.
But there will be sidewalks.
Don't know that for certain. It's, if whatever the city requirements are, if we do city streets, would be curbs, gutters, sidewalks.
Yeah.
Yep. If, now, it's my understanding that we can put a driveway in and not have sidewalks. It would be private trash instead of city utility trash pickup.
So what you're asking for is for a city road, or you're asking
No.
for a driveway?
We're asking solely for a variance from 50 feet to 40 feet
Sure.
on the road.
To allow a city road to be 40 feet versus 50.
Right, yeah. And then we can make the determination based on cost, whether we put it in a city street to the city specifications.
Well, you got a question, you got to come up to the podium. Yeah.
So basically, I just make sure you're clear here that it is, we've discussed this as in length. We can put in a driveway on that parcel that we've noted that is large enough for a city street, and we can maintain ownership of that parcel and have it as a driveway. Mailboxes, it would not have any city services such as snow plows. That would be on the individual owner that owns the entire property. The mailboxes would have to be stacked mailboxes out at the end of the driveway, et cetera. So that's one option, is to put in a driveway and maintain ownership of it and the maintenance of it. The next option is to put the city street in that area where we've defined that to the city specifications, and then turn that street over to the city. So all we're asking for is the variance so we can move along with our next set of plans, drainage, utilities, and so forth, with that street. And it's only serving 19 homes, approximately 8 on each side. And I think in larger subdivisions where there's hundreds of homes in there, you may have a desire for wider streets for a longer period of time. But this is 19 single-family detached homes.
Other questions from the board? Go ahead.
So, back when I put the cul-de-sac it's in front of where Harold Hunt lives. At that time, the radius of a cul-de-sac was pretty large. It's the reason that cul-de-sac's there, because it had to be for school buses and fire trucks and everything that went along with that. So, in all fairness, for what the size cul-de-sac I put in, I feel like that should be the standard for what size the next cul-de-sac goes
But
in.
is it a city road now?
It was city road,
Okay.
and that was only for 6, that was gonna be for 6 lots, not for 19. And that, again, is the cul-de-sac, if that was the standard then, I don't see how it could be actually reduced.
Well, that's the thing, they haven't decided whether they want to put in a road that is
Well, I
going to be
think that
city
should kind
maintained or a
Weigh a little
driveway.
bit on the decision of whether it's a city street or a driveway. Because on a driveway, you
I
can
understand.
make the driveway
So,
however you
so we
want.
didn't have a cul-de-sac. If you look at that plan right there, that was approved by reviewed by the fire chief, and this is not a cul-de-sac. It is a hybrid. It turns around. It's plenty of room for a vehicle to turn up here, fire truck, school bus, whatever it is, and turn around and come back. So, and the reason we didn't run that driveway to go all the way through, was mentioned before, into the parking lot, we didn't want that to be a cut through. People coming south on Michigan Road, turn right, scream down that road, go across the parking lot
So
for,
does that get a concrete curb to keep that from driving through the dirt later on and becoming that way?
well, if it's a city street, it will be built to city specifications. Yes.
Which
So
would
what we
have
have
to-
designed it is, if we wanted to do a driveway today, build the 19 houses and come back 5 years from now and redo that driveway into a city street, we have the space to do it.
I think it would make it easier if we just decided on.
Well, we're getting out into the weeds here.
Right.
We've got, all we're looking at is going from 50 feet to 40 feet.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're getting in the weeds. I feel like we're trying to understand what you're trying to do, because we approve it and then you go and do whatever you want to do, and that becomes a problem for a lot of people. So, 19 homes is kind of significant for Madison. It's not small. It's it's bigger. So,
Right.
yeah, I feel like there's a lot of ambiguity
So what's-
with the project. So-
Well, I think we have to go back and say that we could do this with a private driveway. Okay, is that correct? We can do this with a private driveway and not meet city specifications in any way, shape, or form. And we maintain, the owners maintain the road.
Right.
That's permissible.
Yeah.
Okay? Alls we're asking for on this drawing is, if we do a private driveway based on cost, we want to have the option to go in at a later date and redo that, or even maybe upfront, depending on the cost, and do that to city specifications. So both of them are permissible, okay? It's just based on choice. Cost right now is whether we're going to do a driveway or a city street to city specifications.
I guess I would rather see you apply for it then.
Well, we can't, you got to move, we've got to move this plat along with this. I mean, if we,
So we could approve it with a private driveway
yes,
and no variance.
yeah, but we've drawn it, we've drawn it.
Well, I understand
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, you're correct,
That's your,
Yeah. yes.
that's your doing.
But, is there more?
No,
Yeah.
that's it.
So if you do a private driveway compared to a city street, does it take a lot more stonework underneath the street to actually put a city street in comparison to
Absolutely.
actually putting the? So if
Absolutely.
you go and put a driveway.
You're gonna have
and then all of
different
a sudden
rating.
Just call it city street later on, and you'd have to completely tear it completely out to actually get the.
That's
restrooms
correct.
that are underneath it.
100% correct.
That's true. I think it's what he was saying. If they put a driveway in now, and then years down the road, they want to change it to a city street, they would have to rip it up, but they'd have, the ability to do that, is basically what he's asking. Yeah, so, it's
Trying to get a
general.
That's trying to get a driveway turned
No.
into a city street later on.
No, they would never take it. The city would not take it over if it was not built to city specifications. Is that correct?
That is true. The city, to take it as a street, it would need to be built to the city.
We can't
city
force them to
standards.
take it. They have to agree to take it.
My concern with reducing this right away from 50 to 40 feet is that this is a lot of homes and a lot of potential residents and a lot of cars that could be back in this subdivision, and with only one way in, one way out, thinking from a city management standpoint, I think it would be wise to have as much right of way as possible through there.
Can I ask another question too then? Okay, if it's going to just be like a private driveway and it's not going to be a city street, then how is it that they can add on at the front and say that that has been approved by the state as a street when it's actually just a driveway? Does that make sense, what I'm saying, or asking?
It makes sense. I think what you're saying is it's been platted that it could be a street there, which it could just be a street and there's nothing else built, just a street, right? So if it's platted for that, but that doesn't mean you have to put a street there. It just means it's platted for to be able to have a street. I'm not sure that you have to necessarily put a street in with what I think what you're asking.
Yeah, so what I'm asking is if he's not wanting to make it as an actual street, city street down through there, and it's just going to be a driveway that leads from the housing area back there, and it's just going to be like another driveway down through
Right.
there, then it's not really a street. So would that be something that is truly approved by the state because they're thinking that it's going to be a street?
I don't think so, but
A driveway, both a driveway or a street in this particular area doesn't require state approval because it's outside of their right of way. So it's just city of Madison approvals that they'll need, and either way, they'll need a driveway or street cut. It's the same application.
Same application?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that has not been applied for or reviewed.
Right.
Okay, and then, does it show too, like, again, how far the street or driveway is going to be next to the motel itself? I mean, how close is it?
Well, the property they own to the north of the hotel is 50 feet wide where it comes out onto Michigan Road, and they're asking for a 40-foot right-of-way for a road. So if we approved it, then it would be 40 foot, looks like about down the middle.
5 foot on both sides. Taking
But the pavement is not that way.
The pavement's something like, okay.
So to give the board a clearer understanding, they asked for a variance on table 4-1. Local streets currently requires a 50-foot right-of-way with a minimum street width of 26 foot, where an alley requires a right-of-way of 24 foot and 14 feet for a minimum street width, just to give you an idea of what is in the current ordinance.
And you were looking for 40 foot with 20 foot of pavement?
Well,
Or roadway,
we're not sure what the
yes,
pavement's going to
but-
be. If we decide to go with the city street, it has to meet the city regulations. So we're not asking for a variance on that. Right now, we're just trying to get, so what we did, this is the 5th drawing we did of this subdivision to try to manage it away from having the road all the way at the south and having very, very narrow lots and stacking houses and doing things, trying to make it look where it's very, very nice to the eye. But with the 50-foot, it really puts a crunch on putting houses in there. I mean, it's just, talking with the surveyors and the designers, this is the only way that they can come up with getting, we were really looking for like 24 houses, but it ended up being about 19 is all we could fit on that with that 40 foot. So if we're required to have that 50, we'll probably have to go back to the drawing board and scratch it and may only have 12 houses, and then does it become feasible, financially feasible to do. And Madison needs housing very bad. We're all aware of that if you haven't lived,
So the application was submitted specifically just for the right-of-way width, nothing else, just to be clear.
These are rentals, and as you can already tell, this lot's kind of a squeeze to get them in there anyway. I'm not here to be against it, but at the same time, there's a little bit of me that's against it as well, so since we're kind of to a little bit of will it work or not, I think it's too tight, and I think it's all going to be, we're cramming that all back in there. It's not a great place to go putting those apartments in and
houses.
rental houses.
What's the average, what's the size of the lots, width, that?
We have, if you see on there, that square on there defines the building space, and it's approximately 40 by 50 for the building space, so the house would have to be built within that 40 by 50 area there.
Is there more setback on that 40 by 50?
There are 3-foot setbacks on each side, I think is what's, the 6 foot between houses.
So it's more like cobblestone.
Yeah, it's something very, very similar.
But it is wet back. I've seen a tractor get stuck back there in August just for it's so
Yeah,
wet back there.
we got drainage to go through.
Well, I understand. This is not the greatest place in town to be.
It's different. It's something that hadn't been brought to you before, I'm sure, on this board.
I think it's a interesting use of the space and a good proposal.
I think it's a
I'm
great
afraid,
use
I'm
of the
afraid
space. I
that,
think it's
I'm
probably-
afraid that you're trying to squeeze a little bit too much into too small of an area possibly, and by asking the city to give up that right of way on a potential road back in there with that many residents, cars, dwellings, and no other way out.
So I think if you're worried about traveling, the pavement has to be 26 foot wide. And so even though you have 40 feet or 50 feet, it just turns into people's front yards.
So the concern I have as a member of the zoning board is that now we're making residences up on the hilltop with the same characteristics as downtown. Then you're gonna have people coming to you asking for zero line setbacks to build a porch or whatever. And that can all be avoided with proper planning. That's my,
But it's only about the width of the road tonight and not about houses or lot lines or setbacks or anything. It's what I think that our application is for. And I understand everybody tries to, think ahead and see where we're at, but this is where we're at in the process.
The road determines the size of everything else.
And we need to, in my opinion, look at this holistically, because if we don't, that's when we end up cubby-holing ourselves into potential problems down the road.
I don't disagree with that. So, we have, is there any other comments or questions from the audience beyond what we had on this? Okay.
Again, my main reason I came was for the danger of.
Can you come up? And yes, sir, you need you.
Again, my main reason I came was for my danger concern of kids or whatever coming overnight, but there is obviously some other concerns there that I've had as well, but squeezing it all in there, I feel like we're gonna be overpopulating that area for the business area that it is, but that's up for you all to decide.
Thank you. I think based upon the proposal, I think we probably should look at these two separate applications and not take them as one. Is the board okay with that? And vote, looking at a vote separately? Okay. So the first application we have to consider is the PCAF-25-9, which is the application to amend the final plat, which is to consolidate the parcels previously established as Century Plaza Addition. Does everybody understand the application that we're considering right now? Okay. Based on that, would anybody like to make a motion on this application?
I would move we approve application PCAF
Dash 25-9.
25-9 to consolidate these parcels.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
Nicole?
Patrick Tevenall,
Yes.
Jerry Ralston.
Yes.
Rick Ferris.
yes.
Mike Armstrong,
Yes.
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Josh Wilbur.
Yes. All right, the second application that we are considering is SDVA-25-1, which is the application for a variance from subdivision standards to allow for a smaller right-of-way for a future road. Would someone like to make a motion on this? Remember, obviously, you can't just not make a motion on it, so you have to have a motion. You can always vote yes or no once that motion is made, so even if you make the motion, doesn't mean you have to vote a certain way.
I'd like to see a definite, is it gonna be 40 feet, is it gonna be 50 feet? Is it gonna be street standard, is it gonna be driveway standard? I'm at a point right now, I can go either, I can't go either way with it, but I can certainly table it until we figure out what the road's gonna be. Because I don't want school buses backing out on, to the highway loaded full of kids if they can't turn around. And when the city comes in and for the garbage truck, if it's not up to standards, I mean, they can't even go down and pick up garbage. But I think we need to, it's either gonna be a driveway or a street, and since it's inside the city, I like for it to be street standard, in my opinion.
Any other comments from the board? Is that something
I
that,
think there's still a misunderstanding here of exactly what is possible. So we could go in there today and put a private driveway in and build houses without anything. It's a subdivision, it's already platted, and it does not require a city street. You could put a driveway in. So I think that we've got it designed that we want to do a city street, but then the cost, and that's the way we're leaning, and I can't speak for the owners, but we're getting those costs back right now. And it's probably going to be double the amount or more. The off the cuff we had was $125,000 for a driveway and $250,000 for a city street. And so significant money. That's the way we're leaning, but I can't speak for the owners right now until we have more clear, we're still waiting on drainage. All of this, I mean, this is a one-step process. You do one step and then the next step, so we have to do a drainage plan, and we have to do a utilities plan where we're going to do our water and electric and so forth, and all that is all kind of tied together and kind of hinges on, if there's a 40-foot right-of-way, the pavement is 26 feet to city standards, okay? So that leaves 14 feet that we could put that street anywhere in that right-of-way. And if it was 50 feet right away, it's still 26 feet for city standards for a street, minimum, okay? And so to sit here and say that, hey, we want to know if you're going to do a driveway or a city street, we're laying it out to do a city street, but based on cost, it's possible that we might have to do a driveway for a period of years. But the city street will fit well within that 40-foot right-of-way.
if given the variance?
If given a variance, yes, because the street is 26 feet wide. The pavement is 26 feet wide minimum.
The thing that also concerns me here, and this did just come to mind, is down the road, if you build this to a city street, somebody will want sidewalks down the road, and if we don't have the right-of-way eventually to put those in, then that could also be
Yeah, I
be a
think that
concern
there's
here.
room for all of that with this plan. Yeah, I believe that is that your take on it, based on this drawing?
I've not taken measurements, so I can't speak for that, but I will just note that if it's approved at 40 foot and somebody wants to change it into a road, they would have to meet those current standards, not today's standards. And if sidewalks are required and they don't want to put them in, then they would need another variance.
I did, back when I did that cul-de-sac on the hill, and there wasn't something at the time for a city street, if it was over 500 foot, you had to have a full cul-de-sac for the school buses and fire trucks to turn around. I know he's got something there where they can back up and turn around and this and that, but again, you don't want school bus backing up and kids getting off the bus. And I know that's gonna be over 500 foot in length. Now, whether that was changed or there was different people in charge at the time too. If it was to convert back into a city street later on from a driveway, then it's gonna have to have a full cul-de-sac, based on what knowledge I had from the time that I did the last cul-de-sac.
Nicole, is there anything you can share about the need for a cul-de-sac if it was a city street?
It says, dead-end streets shall not be allowed without specifically approved by the Plan Commission. Where allowed, dead-end streets shall not exceed 800 feet in length. So it's 800 feet for a cul-de-sac. But I don't believe we define what exactly a cul-de-sac looks like. And I did have the fire chief review the plans that Mr. Pruitt submitted, and he did confirm that he believed the turnaround was adequate for fire apparatuses.
That's what they're needed for. But- So, I mean, I guess, Jim, from my perspective, you have the ability to put a driveway in no matter what, whether, so, tabling the application isn't really, would not be that far-fetched because you don't really know yet, you haven't got quotes back on whether or not it's cost prohibitive or not for a street. And that's what you're waiting on anyway. So in all reality, I think it might behoove you to table it and find that out and then come back and say, hey, it looks like, this might be the direction we're going. I think for the board, that's, I think we are struggling with it. It's certainly, limiting our standards, because those standards are in place for a reason, and trying to figure out how that really fits in putting sidewalks in and everything else that would need to go there if that's the case. So, I don't know if the board feels fully confident, don't know that or not, I haven't asked them, obviously, but it seems to be, somewhat of an issue right now, right? So, that's your call. If you want to vote tonight, we'll vote on it, but just letting you know.
And if they vote no, it has to wait how long?
I don't know on this particular type of application.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it has to wait to come back before us. I think you just got to pay another fee to have another application submitted, rather than tabling it, you don't.
So if I could hear your advice, I understand, Mr. Eagley, you did want school buses backing out, and we've got a turnaround, we've got that solved. Whichever way we would decide to go on that, it's still, if it's private, all the maintenance of that driveway is on the property owner. The city bears none of that maintenance. That's all on the city. That's all on the property owner. So, trying the real reason for this application is to make use of the land, good use of the land, and be able to build some houses so it's economically feasible to do. You can't spend $250,000 on a road for 5 houses. The numbers have to work to make it work.
I know, you're familiar with Railroad Court, of course, those houses up there, listed houses. That's a nice little subdivision that nobody ever imagined. Put sidewalks in, nice turnaround back there. And it's just very attractive, and that's all to the city standards.
Right. Right.
That's a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's, if you went back and looked at an aerial now on that right of way for that particular street, look at the width of the pavement, the width of everything back there. There's still a lot of property that goes up in the right of way that goes up into the front yards.
I just don't know if down the road who's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I'm just looking really to learn what the objections really are, so we can touch on those, so we can, make this as economically feasible for the owner as we can. Madison has a shortage of houses. We have an investor willing to build. So we need the houses. We need, so we're trying to, and try to make it economically feasible for the owner also.
They can't do it for free, I understand that.
Right, right.
You'd be broke.
Right.
Yeah, we're just, Patrick and I are kind of really looking at this drawing, trying to figure it out, the 40 feet, and you got 10-foot, utility easements on both sides. So you got really 60 feet from the property line of each home, residents,
Yep.
Even though they're
Right.
going to be rentals.
Yep.
So you got 60 feet really to build. If you're going 40, then you have 10 feet to put basically sidewalks and any landscaping that you're wanting to put in. Is that what you're thinking?
That would be just a utility easement. That wouldn't
It's
fall in
utility.
the city's right of way. Sidewalks would have to fall in the city's right of way.
Right, but if that's on top of the utility easement though, it's gonna be on top of the
It would,
utility
if
easement.
we left it at 50.
Okay, that's only approved. So the 40 feet would actually include any sidewalks and stuff, is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Oh.
That's 14 feet. Generally, they want the, you got the curbs,
Yeah, you got
And the
curves and
sidewalks.
sidewalks, that's what,
Yeah.
7 feet both sides?
Now, would it help if we had them to draw?
That's what I'm
what
saying,
you-
I think if you tabled this and you could put this in front of us with a drawing would be helpful. I'm
Okay.
just trying to think through what that does, what it brings it
Right.
down to.
So what you'd like to see
I'm
is
just-
the finished product of what, if it's city street with curbs, gutters, sidewalk, just a cross-section. You don't need the whole thing, just say, here's 2 houses, and just, here's this with the.
Well, I'd
city
lay it out
standards.
just like you got here.
Well, I think we need to blow it up and make it bigger so we
Well,
can see
yeah,
it.
but
Make
blow
get
it
you-
up,
Get you a big
yes.
section.
Yeah, a full, yeah, full.
Show it as a private road, which the option that it could convert back to a city street later on, it needs to show the proper cul-de-sac.
Well, this turnaround takes the place of a cul-de-sac. And this has been reviewed by the fire chief. So, I understand you had to do something one time, but I think this makes good use of the land. A cul-de-sac, we had 4 drawings with a cul-de-sac on it in different locations, had it with a cul-de-sac, and then finally the designer came up and said, here, let's look at this. And then this was the 5th drawing that we did on this.
Yeah, I think putting what it would look like if it was a city street would
Okay.
help.
Okay.
A tremendous amount. That's my advice. You don't have to take that and do it.
Anybody else on the board have any other questions or concerns? Does that answer your concerns if we had a drawing that showed where the sidewalks, curbs?
The thing
utilities?
would be if you're going to make a definitive answer, whether it's going to be a private drive or a city street.
Right.
And just come to us with that would make it
Right.
easier. And
Yeah,
so
I
we've
don't-
made the decision from a cost
I don't see
standpoint.
the difference in my mind because it's still, what we were trying to accomplish by this drawing was give us the ability at any time, now or in the future, to have a city street. And we could do a driveway today, we could do a city street today. Either one is permissible.
I see more what you're talking about now, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
to be able to go there and give you
Right.
that ability, I'd like to see it.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns?
Or I mean, we could always amend this to this plat, but retaining a 50-foot right-of-way, correct? Or would a new survey have to be presented?
You've already approved the plat that was submitted.
I mean, the replat.
The replay.
You guys have already approved the replat,
No, we approved, was it vacating?
the consolidation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the replat, though, if we wanted, could we amend the replat, the right-of-way on this replat without them submitting a new Mylar drawing? Or would a new survey have to be drawn up to?
I would have to have a new Mylar because it has whatever's
Whatever
final
was-
has to be
okay.
recorded as final.
I mean, I would feel comfortable today, we could approve your plans here, but retaining I mean, I would feel comfortable making a motion for this, but retaining a 50-foot right-of-way.
Well, the only thing we're here to ask for is the reduction from 50 to 40, nothing else.
That would be basically.
Be-
So that's the
within
only
Not,
thing
not
we're
with
here
it, so just turn it, okay, yeah.
Right.
The only thing
Okay.
we're here for is to request from 50 feet to 40 feet.
Right.
Nothing else. So I say this, it's a big, it's an elephant. I don't, if I can humor you for just a second, the fable of the Indian, the blind monks and the elephant. Each one of them felt the elephant in a different part, and they all described it differently. One says it's a tree when they felt its leg, and one said it's a rope when they felt its tail. So there's bits and pieces, and there's lots of parts to this puzzle, and this is the first step of the puzzle. And then we have to do drainage, and then we have to do design, and we have to do several things, and all of those things cost money as we go down the line.
Sure, it costs money, and another reason to want to turn to the street is so then you don't have the upkeep later
Right,
on too, right?
exactly.
That's costly as well.
Right,
So,
exactly.
I get it, but, I just, I'm not there to give that approval. Obviously, you can
So-
put a driveway in now, but I would like to see,
So basically, what I'm hearing is come back with a more detailed drawing of what
It would
this,
help me
what
understand
the
it.
street would look like.
but I'm one of several here, so.
Yeah, it's important that we get this decision right.
Right.
So can we table this
He has to ask to have it tabled, or we'll
Yep.
have to do an motion.
And
So
that's
it's
what
up
I'm
to
trying to
you.
gain enough information from you
Well,
guys
you,
individually.
yeah, we need to move forward, so either you want us to table or take a motion here at this
Yeah.
point, so
We'll,
it's up to
we'll-
you.
we'll request to table it.
Okay.
And if there's any further discussion, I know it has to be discussed in chambers, but if.
We
is
can
there any-
discuss with Nicole, though. so-
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions or concerns after this, please direct those to Nicole, and she and I can chat about it.
Anybody would like to make a motion on the tabling?
I'll make a motion to table this application.
All right, Nicole?
Carl Eaglin,
Yes.
Mike Armstrong,
Yes.
Jerry Ralston,
Yes.
Patrick Tevenall,
Yes.
Rick Ferris,
Yes.
Josh Wilbur.
Yes. All right, any other business, Nicole?
No.
All right, with that, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Phase 1 is over.